The following stories are inspired by documented paranormal encounters. Some locations and identities may have been changed to protect the people involved. These stories may be disturbing for younger audiences, and listener discretion is advised. This podcast is based on true events.
Hey, I'm B, she, they.
Hi, I'm Dalia, she, they.
Hi, I'm Brandon, he, him,
And this podcast is based on true events.
We barely held it together.
Who's
for that
we?
one.
Whose? I forgot.
I was looking at you.
So I
was watching.
For some
you.
reason, I thought Dalia was starting, and then it was quiet. Then we both looked at B, and it's like you also realized, oh, I'm starting.
No, I knew it. I was just,
B was trying to hold it together.
I had the sillies,
Uh-huh.
so I was trying to take a breath and make sure the laugh was gone before I started.
Okay.
That's fair.
So vibe check, B. You go first.
Silly goofy goose time.
Silly goofy goober.
I just took the best poo that I've taken in a long time.
Good start.
It was very needed.
The
I
bidet
feel
helped?
refreshed. Yes, the bidet
Good.
did help.
Good.
That was wonderful. Very refreshing.
Always.
Good. I feel good.
Good. We had some silly goofy time before. How's your ponytail?
Crooked.
Oh, okay. Is that what you were testing? If it was crooked?
Yes.
We had some silly goofy fun times right before, like after we hit record, but right before we started the episode. You should have been there. Really, it was really funny. It was really great. I listed off some zingers, some bangers. These two will tell you. But
Silence.
but vibe check. I am okay. I'm doing good. I'm fine. I'm chill. It's a good day. It's a good day. It's nice out. It's nice in. Hell
Nice
yeah.
in, nice out.
Dalia, how is what's your vibes like?
Crampy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm crampy. I'm a little not very cozy today.
Oh no.
It's probably because of the coffee
Probably could be.
and the
A little
cramps. I'm not really jittery, thankfully. I think if I were to have a second cup of coffee, I probably would reach jittery.
Let's
imagine.
find out.
Yeah.
Maybe after this session.
Let's test your theory.
This episode, yeah.
Let's test your theory, like real investigators.
Could be.
Burpy, I see.
Yes. I am full of cramps and burps and something. I don't know what it is. I can't really pinpoint it, but I'm here. I'm doing good. Like,
Good.
you know what I mean? I'm doing good, and I realized I never plugged my thing last time.
Yeah, go for it.
I never.
Oh.
So I started streaming recently. I know I kind of like hinted at it a little bit the last episode, I think. Is hint the right word there?
No, you've been streaming since like before our last sessions of episodes came out, and you did advertise before then as well.
Barely. But
yes. Well, no.
Because I hadn't started it.
We had a whole conversation about it.
Yeah, we had a whole conversation.
Did we?
Did we?
Name
Yeah.
and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you remember that? Oh,
Yeah.
you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What am I forgetting?
No, I'm on B's side here. What's going on?
I don't know.
I know.
What did I do?
Do you know what today is?
No.
Do you know what today is?
No.
It's Saturday.
It's Saturday. It's the 21st of March currently.
Do you know what day it is when this episode comes out?
Sunday.
The day the episode comes out is on the 29th of
Yeah.
29th of March.
Yeah,
yes.
you're right. You're
Next Sunday.
No,
So
no,
yes.
you're wrong. This is our second episode.
Fuck.
So it's the 3rd of... No, hold up. The 5th of April.
Fuck.
It is currently Easter Sunday.
Oh boy.
Oh shit.
Woohoo!
We didn't come up with an Easter episode.
I can't believe you... Oh, yeah.
I got a story about a Catholic school. It's fine.
All right.
Okay. All right.
I got a ghost story about Jesus rising from the dead. So
You know what else is gonna rise from the dead?
My mom.
My mom.
My mom is very
This
much
dick.
alive. Let me not.
Yeah, for real. Same here.
I can say it because never mind.
Go for it.
Anyway, so yeah. Did you have more? You wanted to say?
I was cracking my jaw. Sorry.
What's going on?
I'm good. I'm in a weird fucking mood. I don't know what it is. Is it silly goofy, you think?
It might be.
It might be
feels
silly goofy.
Might be a little silly goofy.
Silly goofy with a side of cramps.
For me, it's silly goofy with like an edge of, okay, but we have purpose here. We got like there's something to do.
Okay, I like it when other people perceive me sometimes because sometimes I have no sense of like self.
Same.
Sometimes
whatever.
So for me, it's like I think I know how I'm coming off, but also I never like to assume that I know how people are perceiving me.
I feel like I'm always perceived as an asshole.
Absolutely not. Not even a little bit.
At least in my past, I've been perceived as one, and I've tried not to be an asshole.
By college students, they're the assholes.
Right.
And,
All college
high
students
school students and middle school students.
You're not helping the case. It's just making it more... It's
My
just proving my
parents
point more.
and
And you're
I'm newer to your life than your husband is, and I have never once thought you were an asshole or even a little bit mean.
yeah.
Never.
My coworkers say the same thing.
I would call myself mean way before I ever called you mean.
I
You're
would also
not
call
mean,
B
though.
mean way before I
Yeah,
ever called you
like
mean.
Are you mean?
Yeah,
I don't think
mean.
you're mean. You're not mean to
I
me.
think you can be, but not to us.
I'm not mean if I like you.
I'm okay.
If you're on my good side, that's great.
Okay.
That's a
See,
great
like-
place to be.
No, like...
That's where you want to be.
I don't think it's necessarily... it's like mean. I think you're just kind of like... I don't... what's the word for it? It's not really... It's not like giving what gets put in, kind of. Maybe
Yeah.
it is. Maybe
I don't.
it is.
I don't take shit.
Yeah, which you shouldn't. That's a great trait to have.
I would like to not.
I match energy. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I match
I've
energy.
noticed. I've noticed
That's what I was
that.
trying
I
to
match
say.
energy.
Which, like, no, we've never had a problem because it's always cool here. It's always fun time when we're here. We're either having a game night or a recording session.
Yeah.
So,
It's playtime, no Poppy,
Aw.
whatever you say. Why? What happened? What?
That
why?
bitch. Poppy's a bitch.
Oh, playtime.
Yeah.
Oh.
I ain't played it. I don't think I want to after
Not
hearing how the
after
last
the newest
one,
chapter and like,
how bad it's going. Yeah.
Oh,
Bad.
Oh yeah,
Poppy playtime?
The newest
Yeah.
chapter. It was the 5th chapter, and it was apparently supposed to be the last one, and it left on a cliffhanger, so they're dragging it out more. And people are upset about the game in general.
I haven't finished playing.
And the
Chapter
map
5 yet.
doesn't make sense.
So
and
people are
it's-
upset about the game in general because, like, what the fuck is the layout of this place?
Yeah.
Markiplier hated it so much that he said, "I'm not playing Chapter 6. I'm done. I'm done with Poppy's playtime," which is insane
for Mark.
for Markiplier. Yeah. It was so bad that Queso had like barely any good things to say about it. The man
Really?
who says who only says good things about a lot of games usually. Like, I don't know. Some people still like it, and that's fine. But I agree with the sentiment. Like, if your location doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, which, like, I can forgive a lot. I can forgive a lot. But
I don't want to
why?
give spoilers to be either because they're not done playing it. They said so.
Sure, but like
No, I agree with the map thing. I've played the rest through. It's the whole thing.
Why
Not
does
just
this-
chapter 5? It's the whole.
Why does this
Universe.
Why does this toy factory have an orphanage? Why does this toy factory have electrocution showers? What the fuck is going on?
Well, the orphanage was originally done with good intentions.
Yes, however, how far does this bitch go?
Oh, it's and that's
Why
core
does it
of
have
the earth.
train systems?
yeah.
The core of the earth.
The core of the earth,
It
eventually.
just
That's
keeps
the
on
final
going.
boss. No, it's just starting to make no sense, and apparently a lot of developers left after the 3rd chapter, and so people are like, I think they're just trying to draw it out for money, because at this point, it's getting... If I remember correctly, it's getting to the point where it's worth about the same as a brand new game in its entirety.
Yeah.
5 chapters, and it's apparently not done yet.
Yep.
So that it's only getting more expensive every chapter, which is ridiculous. But enough about that. Are we ready for stories today?
Yeah.
Yippee!
All right. So, you can find abandoned mining tunnels all throughout the state of Virginia. Once used for mining important resources, the majority of them have either been flooded, boarded up, or caved in. Despite this, who can resist a good tunnel, am I right? Mm-hmm. Dark, creepy places, perfect for urban exploring, or even ghost hunting. However, one should practice caution should you choose to enter one of these tunnels. Besides the obvious possibilities of cave-ins and infections from whatever may lurk down there, especially like in the waters and shit, mines have always been places that have bred danger, sorrow, and more often than not, death. Which, in theory, makes them perfect breeding grounds from malevolent spirits. As told by the show A Haunting, I give you the story From the Tunnels. In the old mining town of Grundy, Virginia, there's a legend that the abandoned tunnels below its foothills are haunted. The legend goes that a very wealthy man was commissioned to create the tunnel and, like most wealthy men of his time, had his slaves do most of the work rather than hire people to do it. And after catching one of the slaves in bed with his wife and after the others had started to rebel against him, the man gathers up all of his slaves and seals them up in the walls of the tunnels, where they are all still alive at the time.
Jesus.
And legend says that you can still hear the men screaming down there as they once had while being sealed away. Obviously, I don't think there's anything on the books for this. This is like local legend. However,
Right.
Considering white people's track record,
easy
I
to
believe
believe.
it.
Easy to believe, for sure. In the spring of 2010, the young couple of Candace and John St. Clair decided to visit to do some ghost hunting, just for fun. While at first, John didn't really have any interest in exploring old tunnels that he didn't even believe were really haunted, Candace eventually wore him down into going with her. During this exploration, Candace reported that at one point, she felt air rush towards her while in the tunnel. Not just air, Candace felt like she could feel some kind of energy rushing towards her. All of a sudden, she feels like she can hear screaming from deep in the tunnels. Trembling in fear, she looks over at John to ask if he had heard it too, only to find out that he hadn't heard anything. It was just her. Well, that was the end of the ghostly expedition for the day. Candace had had her fill, and the couple headed home. After deciding that ghost hunting may not be the right fit for them, the couple decides to focus their energy on settling into their new house on the outskirts of town. They had recently found the perfect little house with the perfect location. It was close to John's work, and there were plenty of kids around for their 5-year-old daughter, JC, to play with. They had a nice little family. Candace described her husband John as being very mellow, very loving, and as a wonderful father. And in turn, John would describe Candace as being lovable and outgoing, saying that she makes him laugh a lot. Soon after moving in, JC starts having trouble sleeping in her new room. And when she would sleep, Candace would often wake up to see her standing by her bed, eyes glazed over. She was sleepwalking. Candace and John would gently put her back to bed, excusing the instances as JC just not being used to sleeping in a room on her own, on top of the fact that it was a completely new environment for her. She would grow out of it. They were sure of it. A few days after one of these nights, Candace is home alone, putting the finishing touches on JC's dress for an upcoming pageant, when she suddenly hears a faint crashing sound coming from elsewhere in the house. She stops the sewing machine for a moment, listening but hearing nothing more. As she goes back to her work, however, she hears an even louder crash from somewhere in the house, like shattering ceramic. She calls out to see if John had come home and was therefore the reason for the noise, but gets no answer. The crashing sounds continue. She walks out to the second floor banister and calls out again for John, but only more crashing sounds meet her ears. Something's wrong. She rushes down the stairs as the sound of shattering ceramic continues. Was somebody trying to break in? Had somebody already broken in? She follows the sounds down to the kitchen, where they immediately stopped as her eyes fell upon a chilling scene. Every cabinet door lay open, and every single dish that the family owned lay broken and strewn across the floor and the counters. Only a single plate sat left on a single shelf in her china cabinet. And as Candace looked at it, she watched as it started to wobble and then threw itself on the floor, shattering at her feet.
Damn.
It was like whatever had done this wanted to leave no room for doubt in her mind that it wasn't a human who had done this. Soon after, John walked through the door, having just arrived home from work, to see his wife still standing at the kitchen entrance with a look of shock on her face at the mess before her. Candace sputters out that she had what she had just experienced, and John goes to check the house for any signs of an intruder or forced entry. After checking the house about 2 or 3 times and finding nothing, he comes back and starts inspecting the shelves in the kitchen, wondering if they had given way, allowing the dishes to fall to the floor. There had to be a reason for this to have happened. And with nothing else to do, John just reassured Candace that she was safe and that he would take care of it. Shelves were fine, by the way. A few nights later, the little family of 3 was sleeping together in the couple's bed due to the continuation of JC's night terrors. Candace awakes in the middle of the night, feeling really hot and muggy, like no air was moving in the house. So she gets out of bed and starts to head downstairs to turn on the AC. As she reaches out to turn down the thermostat in the dark, she suddenly feels somebody grab her hand. She jumps back and turns on the light, but she's the only one in the room. She looks around the first floor a bit more, but doesn't find anyone there, and not knowing whether she imagined the feeling or not, she decides to keep the incident to herself. But as the weeks pass, it starts to take a real mental toll on her. She was starting to second guess what was going on in their house. Was she just stressed out? Could she just be imagining things? One night, after putting JC to bed, Candace thinks she can hear a little girl giggling from upstairs. As she goes to investigate, chastising her daughter for being up past her bedtime, she hears it. She enters her daughter's room to find it empty. She hears the giggling again, coming from down the hallway behind her, and turns, calling out to JC. It was then that she started to hear another sound coming from that direction as well. The sound of very heavy breathing, slow and methodical. Starting to get scared now, Candace cautiously approaches her bedroom. The giggling had stopped, but the breathing seemed to stay at a steady constant no matter how close she got to the room. As she reaches the open bedroom door, she peers inside to see JC, sound asleep and curled up in the middle of her bed. Candace sighs in relief and quietly closes the door to her room. Had she just been imagining things again? As she thinks this, the overhead light in the hallway starts to flicker on and off to the tune of low buzzing sounds, or a low buzzing noise. She turns, and there, standing at the other end of the hallway, was something Candace could only imagine in her worst nightmares. It stood over 6 feet tall. Horns protruded from its brow. Its teeth were too long to fit in its mouth. Its body was covered in scales. Candace froze, hoping against hope that this was just a dream and that she would wake up at any minute. But then, the thing took a step closer to her. Candace turns to find a place to run, but the only place there was to go was into her bedroom, where her daughter was sleeping. Not wanting to lead that thing into where JC was, Candace starts to press herself back into the wall as much as she could as that thing continued to approach her. She dropped down into the corner of the hallway as the thing grew close to her, and as it reaches out a gnarled, clawed hand towards her, she covers her face and screams. "Candace?" She hears John's voice and looks up to see him standing at the end of the hallway, looking worriedly over at her. The monster was nowhere to be seen, and the light was no longer flickering, but just on. "Candace, what happened?" John asks as he rushes over to help her. "Are you all right?" Candace stammers out to John about the creature she had just seen, but John is confused. He hadn't seen anyone, or anything when he showed up to the hallway. Candace then tells him that she thinks the house is haunted. First the dishes, and now this. Something not of this world had to be going on. Now, as I said earlier, John didn't really believe in ghosts, but he could see that something was really bothering his wife. He tries to console her, suggesting that maybe she was just stressed from working too much and needed to take a break, but Candace immediately shot that down, insisting that there was something going on in the house that just couldn't be explained away. After this incident, Candace finds it harder and harder to relate to her husband. One day, as she measures JC for a new dress, John sits on the couch to watch some TV. Suddenly, the channels start to change on their own, and the volume starts to go up and down on its own as well. John originally thinks he's sitting on the remote, but moments later, Candace points out that the remote is sitting right in front of him on the coffee table. Confused, John turns the TV off and then turns to ask Candace about the dress that she was working on. As Candace starts to answer, however, they both jump from shock as they hear the TV turn on all by itself. The remote is still laying on the coffee table. Confused, John tries to turn it off again, but after finding that the remote isn't working, decides to turn it off manually. To John, this is simply some kind of electrical short. He'd figure it out eventually, but to Candace, this was further proof to her that something otherworldly was in their house. Over the next few weeks, the once happy couple start to drift apart. One night, Candace goes to bed alone as John stays up having a drink before bed. At some point after drifting off, Candace wakes up to the feeling of her blankets being pulled off of her. She bends forward, grabs them, and starts to pull them back up, but she suddenly feels two strong hands gripping her around the throat. As the hands held her firm to the bed, she realized that she couldn't breathe. She was being choked. Candace manages to break free and push herself off the other side of the bed, and as she looks up, she saw the monster from the hallway once again. Along with the features from before, she can now make out that the thing seemed to have leathery skin in some parts of its body, mainly its face, which she noted as being semi-human-like. As she shuffles back into the wall, she watches this creature start to slowly make its way around the bed towards her. As it steps close to her, the entity winds back its arm and slashes her across the stomach. At the sound of her screams, John bursts into the room. Seeing Candace in the corner of the room, he quickly rushes to her side and helps her up into the bed. Three bloody scratch marks trace along Candace's stomach. John, however, was more focused on getting Candace cleaned up and making sure that she was okay than on asking what exactly had done this to her. Candace said that looking back, she thinks it was a little too much for her psyche to handle at the time. Either way, Candace was beyond trying to convince her husband that their house was haunted. This thing had tried to kill her, and she was ready to take action on her own. While she tried to call any and every church she could think of, Candace couldn't seem to find any specific help from anybody. So, she gets herself a prayer from the internet and some anointed oil and starts trying to perform a cleansing on the house by herself. She worked from the back of the house to the front of the house, anointing every doorframe with oil, with a heavy emphasis on reclaiming her home from the entity that had taken up residence there. The prayer appeared to work at first, and the house becomes quiet and more peaceful. While Candace is happy that it seemed to help, she can't help but shake the feeling in the back of her mind that something was still wrong. Then, one night, John has a dream that shifts the atmosphere in the house entirely. In the dream, John arrives home from a late shift at work. As he drops his keys onto the counter, he hears a low growling sound come from behind him. Turning, he sees it, the same creature that Candace had described seeing twice before now. John says he felt frozen in place as he looked into the distorted human-like face. Then, it started to get closer to him. John never saw it take a step. It was like the thing was just gliding towards him. The closer it got to John, the hotter the temperature around him got as well. Then the creature stuck out its hand and placed it right around John's chest, or right through, John's chest. John says the creature then removed its hand from his chest before holding up a still beating, blood-covered human heart. His heart. John wakes up sweating and hyperventilating as his brain reminds him that he's still in his bed. The dream was so real. John is able to calm himself down and goes to lay back, but he suddenly hears something. A knocking sound coming from somewhere outside his room. John gets up and walks down the hallway, trying to hear more. He's just about to turn to head back to bed when he suddenly hears the sound again, a sort of muffled knocking sound. Thump, thump, thump. It sounds like it's coming from downstairs. As he descends the last step, he once again finds the house quiet. He ventures into the dining room, and a low growl comes from behind him, just like the one from his dream. He turns around, but finds nothing there. Maybe he was still a little freaked out by the dream. Sighing, he turns back to the dining room, only to come face to face with the entity from his nightmare. Before he gets a chance to react, the thing shoots out its hand and clamps it around John's neck. Its hand squeezes tight, and John feels his feet leave the floor as it lifts him up above its head. John is able to utter out a sputtering scream, and then, as it vanishes, the entity releases him, and John falls to the floor coughing. Candace, being woken up by his screams, runs downstairs to comfort the now crying John, who apologizes profusely to his wife for not believing in her. Agreeing that they need drastic help and fast, the couple reach out to the Southern Highlands Paranormal Investigation Group, who agrees to come out and do an investigation. Investigator Stacy Kuchner starts off the investigation with a flashlight EVP session where his partner films the session. Basically, they're trying to record and they're recording and trying to capture EVPs, which stand for electronic voice phenomenon for those who don't know, while simultaneously using a flashlight to try and get simple yes or no responses in the moment. So the flashlight, usually they will have like a button on the back that is some easy, quote, easy for an entity to like push, turn off and on. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they'll even loosen the cap a bit to where just a tap or like slightly turning it will turn it off and on, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. While initially the flashlight wasn't lighting up in response to their questions, one question changed all that. To the question, "Did you follow somebody to this house?" the flashlight lit up, indicating an affirmative. When asked if it was a malevolent force, once again, the flashlight lit up. Yes. When asking if it was demonic in nature, another yes. So not only was this thing evil, it was not even remotely trying to hide it from these investigators. But where exactly did this entity follow them home from? When the investigators ask about the couple's past experiences with the paranormal, Candace admits that ever since she was younger, she could always sense what people were feeling via seeing people's auras, their colors. She could see the good in people, the bad in people, but it wasn't a part of herself that she ever really accepted. Well, that may explain why she had been followed home by this thing. People with spiritual gifts like this give off an energy that naturally attracts spirits to them. Sometimes good, sometimes not so good. But that still didn't answer where this thing followed her home from. But soon it hits her. The tunnel. To Stacy, this makes sense. Places with dark pasts can act like a breeding ground for malevolent entities, and someone with spiritual abilities can easily pick these entities up if they're not careful. So, what do they do now? Stacy suggests an immediate cleansing of the house and puts Candace in touch with a Catholic priest to do so. After the priest arrives and does a quick walkthrough of the house, he hands Candace, John, and JC cards with a prayer on it. He instructs them to say the prayer, or the prayers with him, with a strong focus on taking back their home from this entity. As they all start the prayers, the priest walks around anointing the doorways. As they end the prayers, John and Candace both claim to feel a heaviness in the house lift. They said that the air felt fresher and that the light seemed to filter through the windows better somehow. After the cleansing, the family was finally able to fall back into a sense of normalcy that they hadn't felt in quite some time. One night, the family gets ready to go out for some pizza and ice cream. Candace grabs her purse from her room, but as she's about to head down the stairs, she sees JC sitting on her bed, facing away from her, brushing the hair on one of her dolls. As she calls out to her to ask if she's ready to go, Candace hears JC reply from downstairs. This stops Candace in her tracks. She can hear her husband and her daughter downstairs, and yet she can see her right in front of her on the bed. Slowly, the JC on the bed starts to turn her head around. Candace says as she looks at its face, it almost looks hazy and blurry, almost like there was something missing from it. Candace watches in horror as the thing that was not JC started to climb down off of the bed. Out of nowhere, the thing sprinted with the speed of a gunshot out of the room, around Casey, and down the stairs. Candace heard JC scream at the foot of the stairs and rushes down to see John holding her and asking what's wrong. As JC rushes down the stairs, her and John are able to get JC's hands away from her face, and they both find a bloody cut resting on the crying child's cheek. Candace was no longer sad or terrified. She was angry. That was enough for the family. The house that was supposed to be their dream home, a place where they could raise their daughter and grow old together, had become too much of a living nightmare. The family leaves the house. While the demon did follow Candace initially, like from the tunnels, she believes that it stayed in the house. She vows to never associate with anything paranormal again that could harm her family, and works to control the gift that she has been giving to ensure the safety of her family. And as of the recording of this episode in around 2016, the house still sits vacant to this day.
Jesus Christ. I cannot fathom. Like, if the situation was with us, I cannot fathom not believing you until it happened to me.
For sure. No, I have the same feeling every time with one of these stories. I cannot fathom not believing you, or anybody, any of our friends for that matter, when they're like, hey, I experienced like paranormal activity. I experienced something in either our house or my house, whatever, right?
Right.
Can't fathom that. But it's like Candace said, she thinks that his brain just couldn't handle it. And I get that with some people. It's like you don't want to believe because it can't be real. That goes against everything you've ever believed in, right?
Right.
But
yeah, you got to have more of an open mind, I guess. But
yeah, like, and to a lot of people, it just scares them. It just flat out scares them, and rightfully so, especially if it's happening like in your house to you, right?
Mm-hmm. And on the subject of the tunnels, I know I'm kind of like going backwards here.
No, go for it.
The tunnels specifically, whether it's folklore or not, if it's folklore, enough people believe it.
It can generate
it can
that
manifest.
Energy,
yeah. So, like, do we think like it's manifested, or do we think like it's?
What I personally think is that a little of both, because so like a little of that, yes. I mean, so we have this area that has this obvious dark energy, whether that be from like, minds can carry their own dark energy anyway from all the death that occurs there, or because of there. And then you have this, even if it's just a baseless rumor, even if like you have this swirling around, and so you have other people bringing that energy and those thought patterns into this place. I think it generates its own energy that maybe this thing was attracted to, and that's why it was so easily able to be like, okay, I'm going to a different place now. You know what I mean?
Right.
It didn't. I don't think it originated there. I think it was drawn there from somewhere else, from somewhere not of this world, like a portal type deal. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, sorry, my nasal passages keep closing up. My mouth is dry, so I kept stuttering, and
You're good. I just got distracted by what I think was a butterfly on the tree. I'm not too sure.
Oh, so happy for you.
Yeah, I'm just staring at it, and it's like wiggling like a butterfly. I'm not sure what that was, but it's fine. It's fine. I'm here. But yeah, like I said, this gives you a lot to think about in that aspect of things. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
What do you think, B, about this story?
It's something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
No. No thoughts at all?
No thoughts. Head empty.
Not
no
a
thoughts.
single thought behind those eyes.
So, for me, it's interesting to see how last time we had like not even a priest come in, just a guy being like, okay, I'm going to take this vice, do a bunch of this, and that seemed to push whatever demon that was out, right?
Right.
And then this time, you kind of get this thing where it's like, okay, it's like it was pretending to leave, right? Just to be like, hey, by the way, bitch, I'm still here. That's a terrifying image, by the way.
Because it's intelligent.
It's intelligent. It's some kind of a doppelganger thing, too. Like, doppelgangers freak me out the most. But, like, I can't think about this in the way of, like, a child because I don't have one. B probably could. But for me, if I saw a you that wasn't a you that looked not right, and then you got hurt as a result of that, that would freak me out. That would also be enough to be like, no, we're good. I'm done.
Yeah, we're out of here. Somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know how we figure it out, but we figure it out. Somehow.
Yeah. Which, like, is hard in its own. Like, as a home buyer, you can't just so much is tied into this house.
Yep.
Yeah, if we leave, we lose so much. You know what I mean? So, like, it's
not manifesting that.
Not manifesting that. But that's such a hard thing to have to deal with, you know?
It is.
I'd live in a cardboard box before I stayed somewhere willingly knowing my child was getting hurt there.
Agreed. I understand that for sure. thankfully, you haven't had any kind of doppelganger situation with your kids, right? Cool, because that'd be like, I don't know, that'd be too much, I think.
Yeah, I don't know how I would handle that. I don't have the best mental health.
You definitely like learn more about yourself through it, probably. I'd imagine. But
Yeah.
I also assume that these kind of situations just fundamentally change you. Like, especially if you go into there, like, sure, I believe in ghosts, or like for John, it's like, I don't believe in ghosts whatsoever. And now your world has been rocked. Things have targeted your family, like specifically. To me, that was telling me is like, I'm taking, like, I don't know, for me, maybe I'm being like too dramatic about it. But to me, that gives off of, like, I could do whatever I want, right? No, like, my first thought is, I could be any of you, and I can hurt you that way, right?
yeah, it's definitely a scare tactic for sure. It was showing its power, whatever it may have been.
Yeah. And I guess it did show off some doppelganger tendencies early on with, like, the giggling that sounded like JC, right?
Yeah, that's right. I almost forgot about that, actually. I was more focused on, the giant form that appeared with the teeth that didn't fit in its mouth and that would, like, harm them. I was too focused on that part.
And just seeing this thing walk around your bed, going to you, being like, no one's gonna stop me. That, I don't like that. I also don't like the idea of following giggling around my house. No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because, like, who are you? What are you?
No, come out. You come out. You come to me. Like,
yeah, no. I got a baseball bat. I'm ready. You know what I mean? So.
And, like, then you have John's dream, which, like, could it be a manifestation of, like, stress as well as, like, his wife, like, being worried about his wife and being described this thing to him? Sure. However, in the context of this, it feels very much like a threat.
You didn't mention it, by the way, but I'm assuming, like, back in when you watched the documentary, the form that he saw, was that the same form that she saw?
I did mention that, yeah.
You did? Okay,
Yes.
I missed that then.
No, yeah, it was the same form that his wife had mentioned seeing twice before.
Okay, I thought so. Maybe I subconsciously heard you, and that's why I came to that conclusion.
Yeah, it's okay.
But, yeah, so I think this is too much of a coincidence for it just to been a stress manifestation,
okay.
then.
For sure,
if that's the case. Because especially if it's the same thing that she saw, and it's the same thing to appear to him right after, I don't know, it's too much of a coincidence.
No, yeah.
We got pictures?
We do have pictures. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
This first one is, as usual, it's going to be our customary one. This is Candace and John St. Clair. So these are the people who who were telling the story. This next one is it took me a lot of rooting around, but I eventually did find a Facebook post of somebody who got a picture of, like, the tunnels, what the tunnels look like in this area.
Yeah.
And this is a picture going out of the tunnels. The person on Facebook, Lauren Pendragon, I believe was the name, just to give some credit. But this is a picture of the tunnels they were exploring, but, like, facing the exit, right? So this is looking out to the exit.
I'm jealous of her last name, by the way.
I
wonder if she took it from Studio Ghibli.
Could be House Moving Castle. Who knows?
Who knows?
People use fake names on Facebook all the time.
Yeah.
But did that picture come in?
Yeah.
Right,
yes, it did.
So, what do you guys think of tunnels in general?
Secret tunnel.
I know that when we were talking about this, that was your first thought whenever
Secret tunnel.
tunnels come up, is that song.
Yeah, I don't even know what that's from, I'm gonna be honest.
Avatar: The Last Ember.
Yeah,
Avatar: The Last
Lavender, the
Airbender.
last. Yeah.
Sorry, I am
haven't seen
heavily
it.
on the Mushmouth this episode, apparently.
I have not seen Avatar, that's why I don't know. But
I've seen it in bits, but...
Secret tunnel. I think it depends on the type of tunnel for me.
Have you guys ever been in a tunnel? Yeah?
I've driven through a tunnel.
I don't know if that counts.
I'm in a tunnel.
It's like a man-made...
I can't hear you. I'm in a tunnel.
I'm talking about a natural or a mined-out tunnel. Because for me, it's more of a natural one a little bit, but it's like Mammoth Cave, I believe.
Yeah, I love Mammoth Cave.
I've never been to Mammoth
It's very
Cave.
pretty.
Oh, it's cool. You gotta take her. You gotta take them.
Yeah, it's
Right now.
not far from us, really.
It's so fun. Let's just stick me in the trunk. I'll be quiet. I won't make a peep the whole time. You won't even know I'm there. Take me with you.
Take me down to the Mammoth Cave.
Y'all enjoy your date time. You won't even see me. I've
never been in a mined out tunnel, but like more natural stuff, I think it's beautiful, right? I love natural
So is
occurring.
it all dirt and mud?
It's rock.
That's rock.
That's
the
rock.
stone.
It looks
rock.
wet to me. Okay.
It is wet.
It is wet, yeah.
Okay.
No, it's precipitation and all that, and it gets cold down the tunnels because it blocks out the heat because it's all rock.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
The only type of tunnel I've been in that aspect then would be like man-made, trying to look natural, like, you know, at the zoo.
Sure.
Like the Bat Cave area. And
Yeah,
like,
I know what you're talking about.
That's the kind of tunnel, like, I can kind of envision it, but that's it, I think.
Right.
I could be wrong.
I've never been in a mined-out tunnel. I would love to explore, but at the same time, tunnels themselves freak me out. It goes back to, like, cave exploring, right? Fuck a bunch of that shit.
Fuck that.
Like, especially cave diving or the people who like to wedge themselves into the cracks smaller than their body. Fuck that.
I ain't built for that.
I
Literally
ain't built for that
mentally.
life. But yeah,
I'm gonna go through the caves that somebody else has already explored and set up a path for me
it's
to
safe,
walk
yeah.
and enjoy and look and marvel.
No
and...
climbing, preferably for me.
Right.
No, I agree 100%. Because also another thing, I wouldn't want to.
I don't want to wear any special gear.
I'm wary about abandoned places too, like especially because I think they're beautiful. I really like their aesthetic and how they look, but I have a top fear of things collapsing, of being like shanked by a wall that's not correctly made, about rock collapsing, rock falling in. Like, it's a huge fear of mine, more than the ghosts would be, honestly.
Yeah, same. I get that. I'm afraid of abandoned places. Like, I think they're so cool. I used to work directly next to the Cincinnati Mall, which I guess isn't there anymore, I heard.
They tore down.
I worked at that
Mills.
Bass Pro that was attached to it.
Yeah.
And because I was selling vacations and stuff. But anyway, so I worked right there. So on my break one day, I decided I'm going to go check this out. I got about 20 feet in there and then I said, nope. And I walked back out because I was so scared.
It's a lot of fun. I've gone back into the mall and gone with my cousin.
Well, I was hearing rumors that like people were there with like weapons.
I'm more afraid of squatters being defensive than I am of ghosts. I'll be completely honest.
That's what I mean. Squatters. That was the word. Yeah. So
it's very much mind your business, keep going, and you'll be all right.
Right.
Keep it moving.
Yeah. But no, yeah. So that's the way I feel about that. Where were we? Oh, next picture. Right, next picture. So this next one is the show's depiction of this demon that they were seeing.
Damn.
Don't say it.
He looked like he got blueberries on his chest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
His chest. Oh, can't look at that.
Oh, because the
don't.
the tryptophobia.
Yeah.
I think that was their attempt at like showing the scales and like the not scale parts were more like
Just
the leathery
don't zoom in on
skins.
it. Yeah. If you don't like if you don't like how that looks. Can you formulate words to give them a trigger warning for the photo,
If
please?
you got that thing where you can't look at a bunch of tiny holes clustered together because it makes your brain go, whoa, what the fuck? Don't zoom in on this picture.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This next one is a photo from the Facebook group of the Southern Highlands Paranormal Investigation Group. So I'm sending that, and then I'm going to read it. It's they abbreviate SHPIG.
Hell yeah.
And their
SHPIG.
profile picture is actually a ghost with a pig face. And pig head.
That's cute.
SHPIG, the Southern Highlands Paranormal Investigation Group, is a non-profit organization dedicated to documenting paranormal events in both public and private locations. So this was the team that was able to kind of help them out.
A baby, a boo.
What?
Oh, I thought that was funny.
That's all, folks.
The pig from the Looney
Porky
Tunes.
Pig.
Porky Pig,
But
yep.
it's boo. So the baby, a boo.
Okay, yeah. I do love Porky Pig. He's probably one of my favorite Looney Tunes.
I thought I was silly, goofy, funny. The silence I was met with kind of hurt my feelings.
I'm sorry, my brain wasn't fast enough. If I'm being completely honest, because I was expecting that's all, folks, or something, and then you said boo, and I was like, wait, what'd I miss? And I get it.
Paranormal
No, I get it.
podcast.
I get it now. You're right, and it's
Ghost
very funny.
outfit.
It's very funny.
Yeah.
I got her watching the newer like Looney Tunes animations, cartoons
The
the other
Looney
day.
Tunes, if you will.
She really likes it. She really likes it.
More than I thought I would.
No, for real. One of my favorite lines from Porky Pig is "son of a bit, gun." I love that one. It's so funny. Okay, well, that is my story for today. Does anybody have any closing thoughts on that one, other than no bad, scary?
No bad, scary. No bad, scary, not good.
No bad, scary, not good.
Yeah, no. The lore I think freaked me out the most.
Oh, at the beginning?
The lore of even
No,
if it is
it's-
just a legend. That's so fucked up.
It's
Like, that
fucked up and
fucks-
it's terrifying.
Yeah.
And, like, God.
God, I hate people. I hate
yeah.
white people. This is going to be flagged and taken down because I said that.
I doubt-
Sorry.
We're
Yeah.
white. It's okay.
Yeah. We can
I'm
say
allowed
it.
to say it.
Anybody is. You got?
Yeah,
I give you a
anyone can say
pass.
it,
I give you a
honestly.
pass.
Yeah,
Yep.
you got the hate white people pass
Yep.
if you're listening
Here
to
you go.
this. Yeah, even if you're not listening to this, you
We
get a
know.
pass.
We know.
Yeah,
You can comment. That's that white people shit. We know.
yeah. That's that milk. That's
We
that
know and we
mayonnaise.
agree. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, white people suck.
We know.
Okay, are we ready for mine? My
Yes.
Yes, I am.
encounter. My okay.
I
So-
can't pronounce that, but go on. I
You
can't.
roll
do,
your R's?
I cannot do that now.
You're going too forward next to your teeth. I go back.
It's in the back of your throat.
I'm really trying. I'm not. This is not a joke. I'm actually trying so hard.
No, I'm watching him. Yeah,
If it makes you feel any better, I cannot whistle.
Oh, I can do that.
I can't whistle.
I can whistle in and out. Wait,
I can't whistle in. I don't know what that means.
where you're breathing in, whistling. Yeah, like that kind of.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah. I'm sure this is going great in the audio landscape. Whistling, I'm sure whistling picks up on mics wonderfully.
I farted in the middle of that, so see if you can pinpoint it.
I couldn't hear it, so I
So-
doubt
Oh,
they can.
damn.
You can't roll your R's. I can't whistle. We're even.
And I can do both, so fuck y'all.
Yeah, the ultimate life form.
That's mother.
Mother's mothering. Okay, have you ever been to the beach? Very easy
Yeah!
question. Have
I've
you
been to the beach.
You've been
I
to the
love the
beach?
beach.
A lot of
I
sand.
love going to the bumby.
I used to like. So I used to like the beach. Because I love to swim. I love to swim.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been to the beach a lot, like multiple times in high school and like when in my school days, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was one time we were in Gulf Shores where a shark jumped up next to me.
Oh,
It wasn't a full grown shark, but it was a decent sized shark. And we had like some of the little kids like out on this like floaty area, and we were like, all right, let's get them in now. It was like a couple feet from me, by the way. Like it was very close to me. Like I remember that vividly.
yeah,
But
don't care for that. Yeah, sharks aren't as big of a threat as they're made out to be.
No. Sharks aren't all that scary to me. However, any living thing in the water next to me, I don't like. So I do not like deep bodies of water. So like anything I can't touch my feet on in the ocean freaks me out. I do not like the idea of like all that depth of ocean. It freaks me out.
Fair.
Yeah, don't like it. Sand is fine. It's hard to walk on. It gets everywhere. But like, you know, it is what it is,
There's
right?
rock beaches, which I hate for my bare feet.
No, I would hate a rock beach too. I think the aesthetic of the ocean is pretty. But you'll never catch me on a cruise out in the middle of the ocean.
I'm going on a cruise next year.
I'm happy for you. I understand. Well, cruises are scary to me for a couple different reasons, but one of them is like the idea of being out in the middle of a big body of water. And while things don't usually go wrong in that aspect, if they do, you are fucked. Like there is no getting out.
Let's not scare B before their cruise.
Oh, don't even worry about it.
Don't even worry about it.
I'm
I'm
moving
good.
water autistic. That's my happy place. I'm looking
Really?
forward to being in the middle of the open ocean. Yes, I even got a balcony room. Like
Oh my
I
God.
am looking forward to it.
I'm happy for you. I'm happy for that. It freaks me out.
But
I got seasickness real bad. So.
I don't get seasickness though.
I'm realizing, listening to our conversations about the beach, I'm realizing that my mother had a lot more confidence in my swimming abilities than I have in my children. Mm-hmm. Because, so I'm from California.
Yeah.
And we were at the beach all the time growing up. And I'm remembering specifically, was this before we moved? If it was before we moved, I was younger than 10. And I remember jumping into these waves that felt fucking gigantic to me.
Me too.
Like a whole building in front of me, and diving in these waves and underneath of them and going out as far as I can. And I'm sitting here thinking about it, and I'm like, I would lose my shit if my children were doing that. No, come here. You're attached to me. You're not going out there by yourself. And my mom just let me, and I did. I was a good, strong swimmer.
Yeah,
But-
we had a pool growing up, so like
Yeah,
I've had a
yeah.
pool all my life growing up, so like I was a really strong swimmer.
It's a lot different from the ocean, though.
It is,
especially
it
with,
is,
like, the
and I did
waves.
love the waves, but like the
Yeah.
idea, I'm fine in the water as long as I can touch the ground for the most part.
Well, see, I'm short, so I lose the ground quickly, so
Yeah.
that doesn't bother me as much.
Sure, but the moment I'm at a point where like I'm kicking, I cannot touch the ground, I can't find anything on the ground, my brain goes, there's nothing under me, which means anything could be under me.
Wow.
I hate that thought. Yeah.
For me, I've just gotten enough salt water in my nose and my eyes and my mouth.
Oh, I don't
to
care about
be
that.
Annoyed about that.
That don't bother me none.
Because I'm not a strong swimmer at all. I'm buoyant, but I'm not a strong. Yeah, I gotta be right.
Built-in flotation device.
Yes, exactly. When the waves start crashing into my face and stuff, I'm like, okay, I've had enough. And I also get seasick. So with the waves and the motion of the ocean, ouchie, my tummy hurt. Even in the
See-
pool, if I swim for too long, I gotta get out.
It calms
See,
me.
my dad used to like take me fishing all the time, and so I'd be out on boats like in lakes and stuff, and like so
Yeah.
water motion and stuff that never has bothered me. Like being on like any kind of boats with waves and stuff, that doesn't bother me. What does bother me, and that didn't used to, if I am in a car, I cannot look at my phone anymore usually, like, or else I start getting really nauseous.
Yeah, it's a form of motion sickness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as long as I'm looking ahead or whatever, like, to be fair, on a boat, I have been on a boat for like dolphin things.
Don't you ever forget.
I've been on a boat to like see dolphins and stuff as like as part of trips and stuff. So that's how I know about like I don't
Doing
have motion
flips and
sickness.
shit?
Doing flips and shit, yeah.
Speaking of flips and shit,
Yeah.
my growing up, my mom was a party mom,
Yeah.
and we used to go out on the boat out to Lake Havasu in Nevada, and we go out there swimming, and they'd be drinking and whatnot, and we would cliff dive out there, and it was so much fun.
Oh my gosh.
As a kid, I loved it. As an adult, you couldn't pay me enough money
No,
to
yeah.
do it.
Really?
I'm not going to. I'm terrified of heights. I don't know how as a kid I did it, but now,
That's
you
fair.
could not pay me enough.
So like
cliff
I've
jump.
been terrified of heights though is my thing.
Right.
Like,
Well, see, and I don't know what caused the fear of heights in me, because I wasn't always afraid of heights. I don't remember like falling or anything like that.
So-
like there was a snake that fell out of a willow tree and landed on me, and that made me scared of snakes.
I have a theory because, like, I think you're just as a kid, you're usually overconfident anyway.
That's
because
true.
you don't have the experience to not be. Like, you
Right.
don't know. Like, maybe you're told this could go wrong, but you don't have the experience to be like, oh, that could go wrong.
You don't
right?
have the knowledge and experience.
and
Yeah,
I
you
was a
don't know.
kid that had to learn everything the hard way.
Yep.
So
So for me, like, I've always been afraid of heights. Like, if I'm up way too high, I freak out. My body starts to shut down. I can't move. I used to be afraid of roller coasters because of that. I'm fine with roller coasters now. It's another thing where it's like,
I can do roller coasters because they're moving.
yeah.
But like I can't go on the Eiffel Tower at Kings Island.
No, I can't
Because
either. Actually,
I can't
I'm the
just
same way.
stand there.
Yeah,
I have to be moving. Like
and I
can,
have to be holding something, or else I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
I feel like
You
I'm gonna
guys
pass
couldn't do
out.
drop tower, huh?
I can ride drop tower.
I can't do drop tower. I can't do
can-
dropping. I can't do just dropping.
I can do drop tower.
I can because I know what to expect. I
Mm-hmm.
can do it. I know what's coming. I can count it. It's all evenly timed. It drops at the same exact time every time.
You got to hear the click,
And because I can count it and because I know when it's going to happen, I can do it.
the counting autistic.
I cannot do that big swing. What do they call that now?
Oh, the Windseeker?
Yeah, Windseeker.
I can't do that either.
I
can't
did the
do
Windseeker.
I can't do that. That's too high up for me.
Yeah.
That's too much.
I can do the Zephyr, the smaller one.
Gotcha. I used
Yeah,
to
me
love
too.
that one.
Me too.
I used
But
to
I
love
cannot
that
do.
one.
I did ride Windseeker one time. I will not ride it again.
So I won't ride that shit anymore because of all the horror stories I've heard.
Yeah.
Right. But we are going way off track, guys. I'm going to reel us back in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because we are telling scary encounters. I almost said stories again. It is a story.
Paranormal encounters. Yes.
Paranormal.
Talk about scary
encounters.
encounter. I knew the guy that was doing maintenance on those rides, and I still rode the rides.
Oh no. Dear God. Okay. All right. So, we've all been to the beach. Usually the beach is filled with like laughter, sandcastles, swimming during the day, and bonfires, s'mores, moonlight walks in the night. This allegedly true encounter takes place on a beach. the last place you would expect to encounter the paranormal, but here we are. This post comes from an OP we've heard from before.
Oh, really?
Actually, it's last episode's OP. And they've titled it Haunted Beach Party.
Okay. Let's do it.
So let's get into it. This was written by Old Dude once again. He posted this on July 26, 2011. From the country of Canada once again. Paranormal category, haunted places.
Mm-hmm.
As a teenager, I was always into Halloween and all the fun that surrounds the occasion. In high school, I had a group of friends that I always had such a great time hanging out with. We lived in Amhertsburg, Ontario, California. Let me double check some stuff here. I just want to make sure I got the right one.
Okay.
Yes, okay. The town was a very popular hotspot for all sorts of paranormal and other odd activities. It's about 20 minutes south of Windsor. We had a lot of fun exploring these known places because of the wars and the history of the area. It is almost impossible to walk around and not be standing in either an old battlefield or ancient Indian burial ground.
Mm-hmm.
After a series of bad events that scared the wits out of us, we all stopped. It had been a long time since then, and I am enjoying the opportunity to tell our stories of what happened to us. In this event, we were actually not looking for any trouble or even remotely investigating any paranormal activity. We had a recent bad brush with the Ouija board, and all that scary stuff was off the itinerary. For those of you who have read about my Ouija board experience...
Oh, we remember.
Yeah, just the last episode here. This was just after our first seance in the basement and our first scare. During the fall, the lake was ideal for swimming in. Believe it or not, Lake Erie was clean at that time. To have fun, we would often go to a nearby beach and party. This particular beach is about 8 minutes south of Amhertsburg and is at the transition point where Detroit River dumps out into Lake Erie. The land cuts into a shallow bay and the water is only about 6 feet deep, for as far out as 100 to 150 feet. The area is a wooded area that is a land dam between the inland swamps and Lake Erie. It consists of a wall of dirt with a path on top. To the north is a large floodplain, forest, and swamp. To the south is an old forest with a sandy floor that leads to the beach. The actual beach was narrow, only about 40 to 60 feet wide at its widest point, and in some areas the forest would end right at the surf. This area is famous for its shifting sandbars and its changing tide. Twice a year, the tide will pull out, leaving a 60 to 100 foot exposed shoreline. Then, the surf will come rushing in and in a matter of minutes return to the original level. The beach and forest area was about a mile long and broken into 4 separated areas by large stone jetties. If you can look up what a jetty is, I forget what that means. This made several smaller alcoves along the shoreline where you would have isolated beaches. Yes?
Okay, so it's a long, narrow, man-made structure composed of stone, wood, or concrete that projects from land into a body of water. So think of like any kind of walkway thing that goes out
like
into
a pier.
water. Yeah, like a pier
Okay.
almost. But a pier, I think, is like more wood and like loose.
It's called a jetty because it jets out.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. It was on these beaches that we would have our parties. It was the perfect place. It was very isolated and, for me, a modern-day Eden. The trees were large and had low-hanging branches, and the forest had a bounty of wild raspberries, strawberries, and grapes. That sounds like heaven. I do agree with the Eden
That sounds
part.
really nice, yeah.
Yeah. I've always wanted to pick berries.
Me too.
We should do that.
I'm growing strawberries this year. You can come over and pick some.
We can pick some strawberries. I had been going to this place for years without any kind of paranormal trouble. But this place had a very significant history. This beach had always been the washout area for anything floating downstream in the Detroit River. As a kid, each year there would be 2 or 3 bodies that would wash ashore just after winter thaw. We had many things wash ashore there. Some of my favorites were clusters of giant trees that broke free and created floating islands of roots. Some were very large and could be tied off to a land tree and played with as your own floating tree fort or swimming platform. Once after a great storm, a large 35-foot wooden yacht got caught in the shallows between a sandbar and the shore. I have to burp, I'm so sorry. Excuse me. It was a marvelous ghost ship. No ghosts on board, just looked like one. It was made from wood and probably from the 40s or 50s. It had a tugboat look with the top cabin and captain's deck on top. If you have ever watched the original movie Jaws, you will know what it looks like. It was almost identical to the boat at the end. This boat had been sunk many years ago and had been underwater for a long time. It was full of zebra mussels, and the paint was flaking off the wood. The recent storm and currents must have moved the boat into the shallows, and then it popped back up. I am not a nautical man, but I have been told that old wooden boats have been known to rise from the bottom of the lake to the surface and take on float again. Sorry, it's written oddly, under the right conditions.
Hate that, actually.
The boat stayed for about a week and was gone again in the next storm. Needless to say, that beach area was a place where in the past many ships were washed up onto. Very close to this area is a rock shoal in the lake that is famous for sinking maritime ships. Local lore has it that the dead bodies find themselves washed up on the beach and their spirits never leave. This particular event happened in the early fall. We had buried our alcohol stash in the surf to keep it cool and returned later at night to party. We had a small fire and camp area and all had a blast. But this night was different than the others. It was a very dark night and the normal forest sounds of birds and crickets were silent. Even the moon was an orangey and dim. We started off with 6 of us, and we were listening to music. He didn't mention Madonna this time. So.
No, not this time. He learned his lesson.
Yeah. After a while, we all set out to find areas appropriate for a ladies' room, and another for the men. This is when we had our first indication that something was wrong. Finding a discreet place for the washroom required us to journey into the forest a little deeper than typical. The forest ground was mostly sand, and walking in it produced a very soft sound. Only on occasion would you step on a dry leaf or brush a low-hanging bush and actually make a sound. The forest was fairly thick, but did not have much underbrush, so it was easy to navigate. Once you moved away from the beach, the gentle sound of the night surf disappeared. This is also where the forest would feel very surreal. The air was fresher and crisper, and the moonlight filtered through the treetops, producing a candlelight atmosphere. This was a very romantic place normally. Funny how most of the elements that make a place romantic can also make it scary. This night, the area was also full of dark, shadowed areas where this dim moonlight would not penetrate. There were 3 of us guys navigating the night forest. We were all fairly stout boys that had all backgrounds in scouts and camping, and for the most part very sensible. We were not easily bothered by creepiness of being in a forest at night, but I remember a few comments about how eerie the night was under the odd moon and how the girls must be very scared, being that they were also alone in another part of the forest. I remember we did have a very brief chuckle over the idea of scaring them, but we knew that that would not lead to a good night, so we behaved.
Good.
Being guys, we found our bathroom fairly quickly, as any bush would do. I think we actually made the effort to find a discreet location, really, only because the girls seemed offended by the gesture of us taking a leak in the surf or on the nearby bush. So we pretended to be civilized and find our location. After completing our business, we started to return to the campsite. On the way back to the beach, we all thought we heard footsteps close behind us. We immediately suspected the girls had the same prank idea that we entertained earlier, but with a little investigation, we could not find anyone. Then the footsteps seemed to follow us to the camp area. One of my friends called out to the girls to see where they were. They were, of course, still occupied, and their voices came from the other side of the forest. They were all shouting because they were issuing us warnings not to come looking for them. So we could account for all the girls, and we knew it was not them behind us in the bush. Immediately, I thought it was another kid from the neighborhood, or some prankster, or worse, some misfit looking for trouble. So we all grabbed a thick branch and took a quick walk to flush out anyone in the area. After a few minutes, we did not find anything, and even the sand showed no traces of another person's footprints. So we turned to the fire and started drinking. The girls eventually arrived back at the campfire, and we all started to drink again. All was going to return to normal, but one of the girls asked if we had anyone follow us in the forest. The girls agreed that someone had followed them too. This was too weird and too coincidental to happen to all of us. So the party was off, and we were set to find our mystery person who was lurking in the woods. In our alcohol-induced genius, we figured we'd use the girls as bait.
Oh my god.
We left,
Great.
Yeah, we left one of my guy friends there to complete the picture, and I and my other friend quietly slipped into the forest and circled around to ensnare our would-be stalker. Well, it took some time, and eventually I got in behind the campfire area and settled myself into the dark shadows. I was actually behind a very large willow tree and could see the campfire glow through the trees in front of me. I could hear the girls and the guy talking. I scanned the forest in front of me looking for an outline of our stalker, but nobody was there. Now, standing out in the dark forest alone looking for a mysterious person gets one to thinking. Who is hunting who? I started to second guess the plan. Perhaps the stalker was onto our plan and had noticed us sneaking off in the woods and was now behind me watching me looking for him. Hope that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's just say alcohol and logic do not mix well.
Facts.
Never.
Thinking back, I was a brave but stupid kid. Who knows what animals a person would run into in a night forest, or even some kind of sicko. Who knows? Well, not knowing if our stalker was in front or behind me, I started to break from the plan and lay down and creep along the forest floor on my belly very slowly to relocate to a better hiding spot.
Yeah, that'll show him.
I moved into the deepest dark area and noticed that the ground was holding a small whiff of fog among the trees. I figured I was as deep as it gets. Any further and I would be moving into the swamps to the north. I settled in for a few silent moments. After a while, there was just nothing there, so I decided to go back to the campsite. As I stood up and set myself to walk toward the camp area, a dark face appeared, looking straight into my face. I stumbled back to see a shadowy figure hanging down from the tree I was sat under. He was watching me. He was crawling down the tree, but not moving. He had noticed that I saw him and was still not moving. I remember I could see him as clear as the tree. For a second, I was frozen. I knew what I was looking at, but I could not convince my body to react like I wanted to. I wanted to run, but I couldn't move. After the longest second, I was able to move my legs and start moving off towards the camp. I quickly moved into the brightest areas of the forest that would make a path back to the beach. As I moved, I tried to keep the shadow in view, but he quickly disappeared. But I soon started seeing him looking out from behind the other trees, and I soon realized that there was more than one shadow in the forest. As I made it into the discrete areas, I was in pretty much a full run. I hadn't realized, but the beach and camp area were silent. My friends were not making any sounds. Suddenly, the girls started to scream. The campfire was put out. The forest became darker. I ran towards where I remember the campfire light to be. I caught the image of my other friend who had been scouting in the forest as he bolted past the brush and into the open beach. We both looked around and could not see the others. We quickly found them as they were all some distance down the shoreline. They were waving for us to catch up, which we did. They were yelling that they could see shadows moving in the forest and that we needed to get out of there. To leave this beach would require us to walk through the forest to the land dam and then along it to the road. None of us could bring ourselves to go back into the forest, especially now that the fog was moving in quickly from the trees. Even the lake had fog moving in it. From it. We knew we were going to be trapped in the fog if we did not get out quickly, but we were not going to go into the forest. We were all very scared and made a semi-desperate break for the water. The water was not deep, but it was very cold. We moved along the waterfront until we passed the forest and came from the shoreline in front of the first house on the street. We climbed up the rock wall and ran across their yard and back to our cars parked at the road. Even as we left the car's headlights light up the fog, we could see things moving in the fog. So hold on, let me reread that.
Right.
Even as we left the car's headlights light up the fog. I think that's a typo. We let the car's headlights light up in the fog. We could see things moving. So even when the headlights were on, we saw things moving in the fog.
Yeah.
I think we all really wanted to contribute this event to the alcohol, even though we did not consume very much at the time. We considered this a 7 on our scary shit meter, making it one of the scariest things we had seen up until that point. We did not think at the time, but I'm sure it was connected to the Ouija board incident we had. The Ouija board from hell broke the scary meter rankings and stopped all of our investigations.
I don't think it's the Ouija board. I think it's the fact that you're in the middle of the fucking woods at night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There are rules.
That's
one of them. You don't go into the fucking woods at night.
This sounds like a nightmare. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Because, like, especially with it being in a terrain that, like, that's out of my comfort zone. If I'm going to be completely honest. Mm-hmm. Beach, woods, water. No, I'm good, actually. I'll take a haunted house any day because at least I kind of know the structure of what's going on.
Exactly.
Like, woods at night are not fun, ghost or no ghost. Because, like, there's always an element of you do not know what's out there, whether it be animal, friend, or foe, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, no, the idea, just seeing the different, like, shadowy, like, faces or whatever, like, throughout the trees, I think that might send me into a panic attack.
And while you're drunk? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the fire, so did the fire just went out? Or did somebody put it out?
He didn't clarify.
Okay, because to me it read as like the fire just went out and they don't know why, which is, that's terrifying.
Yeah, so it could have been either one. Because remember, there was 2 people there still.
Yeah, but if it went out on its own, that to me says it feels like we're being hunted almost, right? And that's weird. I also don't like, I say don't like, but I do kind of like, I love the aesthetics of ghost ships. The ocean, while it terrifies me, is very mysterious and like interesting to like hear about and stuff, right? Like different things that happen, like ships being able to just rise with the waves sometimes, like if they're not anchored into the seabed. That's wild to me.
Yeah, it's freaky. I think it's gross.
Well, you also got to think about the fact that sometimes ships, like out in the ocean right now, are so many unmanned ships that are just going. Like, they're not, like, they don't always just put them down and have them sink. They just let them go if they're out far enough. Because what are they going to do, right?
That's fair. I didn't really thought about that.
Oh, no, yeah, there's plenty, which is crazy to me.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. Nautical paranormal stuff I don't know if it's scarier to me, but it's definitely, like, more, like, mysterious to me. And
a different level.
It's a different level for sure for me.
Yeah, me too. Well, not as much as you. Absolutely not. And I apologize. I am looking for something. I promise I'm listening.
You're okay. I get it.
But Yeah, no, it's absolutely like a new territory. We don't talk a lot about beach horrors and ocean horrors and nautical horrors on this podcast. So
There's
it's
Queen
newer.
Mary, which like Queen Mary still counts as nautical, even though it's like permanently docked. Basically, like it's still on the water and it is a boat. But like, yeah, that kind of stuff is like it's different to me. It's odder in a way, right? Odder.
Otter. What sound does an otter make? I'm not telling a joke.
I don't know.
Nobody knows. I feel like it's like.
I feel like it's some kind of.
Like cuter than that.
We're talking about a river otter or a sea otter.
Either one.
There's a big difference.
Is there a bit? Do they make different noises?
The cuter ones, I don't know.
River otters are predators.
Great. Yeah. Wonderful. Lovely.
Yeah, they're also huge compared to sea otters. Sea otters are the cute little otters.
Yeah.
River otters, they're scary.
Oh. Okay. All right. Well, are we ready for pictures?
Yeah. Lay 'em on me.
Okay. So this first one, I know OP mentioned Jaws in that boat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I provided a picture of what that looked like.
The fucking shark midair is hilarious.
Shark midair, yes. I thought that was a little silly, and I was like, I like that one.
But no, that. I'm glad I was picturing the right thing then.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
Somehow the boat being smaller and like just going around on its own is a bit scarier to me than a bigger boat, like on the ocean.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
They are. You got flying Jaws now.
Right, exactly.
Sharknado X Jaws.
Exactly. Okay, so, and then if I could just pull up the correct thing. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this next one's going to be a stock photo of like woods and beach.
Sure.
Area.
The beach woods, if you would.
The beach woods, if you would. Yes. So obviously this is not going to be the same place they were talking about. I don't know the exact beach that they were referring to. I'm sure I could with a little more digging, but
oh, you know that bench is that's a top tier thinking spot.
That's a good thinking spot. That's a really nice.
That beach is a top tier thinking spot. That bench, yeah. Oh,
Ponder.
that's a perfect ponderance place. Yeah.
Pondering.
The ponder place.
To yearn. I want to sit there and yearn.
Sit there, look out over the sea, and pretend my husband is away. When is my husband coming home?
Yep. When will my husband return from war?
Yeah, that one.
So, and then OP mentioned a willow tree, and I love a good willow tree.
I do too.
And so here is actually I believe this is a weeping willow. So I love that shit, and I wanted to make sure it was in the dark so we could see what it looks like.
I do love a good willow. Were we together when the willow was still standing at our last place? Or was that cut down before we got together? I think it was.
So the one that had the roots in the.
Yeah.
Then no, I wasn't with
okay,
you.
so
yeah.
Willow trees are great. However, it is not advised to plant them too close to human structures, as my mother found out. So last place we lived at was a trailer. And so my mom likes willow trees, and she planted a willow tree in between our trailer and the trailer next to us. And boy, were there a lot of plumbing issues because the roots just spread out and take over. And they're like, oh, here's water in here. And so they bust through the pipe. And like, no, it's just a whole mess. And so we ended up having to cut it down. But boy, was it so pretty. B, you probably remember like walking up the ramp into my house with the willow just hanging above.
Yeah.
And I remember in like storms, because it was a metal roof, you would hear it. Mm-hmm. And which was a little creepy sometimes. It was a little off-putting, but like it was. I do love a good willow tree, though.
Earlier, when I mentioned the snake falling out of the willow tree,
yeah,
that picture brought back like vivid memories of it because I used to go and I would sit out in that tree, for hours, just sit in the tree by myself. It was good times.
Yeah.
Seeing that picture reminded me of that. It was like my safe space to get away.
Good times usually come with trees, I'm noticing.
My parents, like most, argued quite a bit growing up, and that was my escape out, was out into the tree.
Yeah.
So that fucking snake ruined it for me.
Growing up in like the middle of the woods where I grew up in Indiana, I remember I used to be scared of snakes. I'm not really scared of snakes anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm cautious of wild snakes, but I'm not scared of snakes anymore. But I used to be. And there was one that was just, I was outside playing, went to go inside, it's just sitting right in front of the front door.
Jesus
and
Christ.
So my sister Jessica had to go and grab it and like take it somewhere and like off like off, but we lived like in the middle of the woods, basically. God, yeah, I love the nature down there, the trees and everything. Just being down there in the falls and the creeks, it was so. That's a good place to go to. That's a good spot in my mind palace for sure.
Did you know that there is a specific spot in our brain that lights up for danger noodles?
What do you
Really?
mean? What does that mean?
Something about snakes been with us a long time. And our brain recognizes that a snake is a snake way faster than it recognizes some other things.
Really?
There is a specific part in our brain that lights up and says, oh, that's a danger noodle. Back up.
That's interesting. I like that. That's really cool.
Yep.
Not to be like that person, but it kind of makes me think of the Bible.
Yeah.
And the snake and everything.
Yep.
Like, I'm not.
Let us pray.
Well,
Yeah.
So since we're talking about it's Easter, we're going to move Catholic.
Oh, shit, it is Easter. So, yeah.
St. Patrick's Day is about St. Patrick bringing Catholicism to Ireland, and when they're talking about him driving out all of the snakes, they're talking about paganism. They're driving out the paganism.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I relearn that every once in a while, and
Yep.
every single time, like, damn.
Yeah.
You know?
So technically, St. Patrick's Day is a Catholic holiday.
Technically, yeah.
Interesting. So let's get drunk, I guess. That checks out with
I like
Catholicism.
to think
Yeah.
of it. I like to think of it as malicious compliance with the Catholicism.
Fair.
Just get fucking wasted.
Fair.
All right. Any other pictures for us, hon? Or is that...
That's it.
Cool. I love those. Very nice story. Very, very, very creepy story, for sure.
I'm glad you liked it and didn't like it.
It's a nice, it's a nice balance we have to reach for our stories. Really.
Yes, it's true.
B doesn't have that problem. B just gets to tell good stories. What do you got for us today?
So, I got something a little bit different
Okay.
for this story. While I was perusing Reddit, I happened to be on the Time I Fucked Up subreddit
Okay.
and found one that I really liked and I really wanted to share.
All right, let's hear it.
Bet.
I do love those kind of stories.
This was posted 22 days ago, so it's pretty
really.
fresh.
It's
Yep. OP has titled it Time I Fucked Up by Letting My 2-year-old son Drive the Car. Drive is in quotation marks.
oh boy.
Yep.
This happened this morning. My son recently turned 2 and is beginning to explore all the joys of toddlerhood. No is a new response he unlocked. He understands that he has possessions that belong to him, even when they don't, and the world is his personal playground for him to climb all over the second I turn my back. Pretty standard toddler stuff. Now, normally, he's very agreeable and a laid-back kid, but my little guy has had the sniffles all week and has been having a bit of a hard time. He's still fairly chill. He just has constant flows of thick green mucus streaming out of each nostril like a slowly erupting gross volcano.
Same.
Yeah.
Like during these weather changes
Yep.
we've been having. Yeah.
We were on our way to drop his older sister off at school when the trouble began. The 3 of us were in the car waiting at a red light when I heard a concussive blast of air from the car seat behind me. My son had sneezed. If you remember those Air Zuka toys that blast puffs of air through a cone, then you roughly know the sound he made.
Oh.
I glanced over my shoulder to check on him and see that he has 2 huge trails of thick yellow mucus streaming down his face. Each one begins at the nostril, runs diagonal to the corners of his mouth, and then reconnects at the bottom of his chin. Something about the force of the sneeze and I guess the contours of his face have created something... hold on, I lost my place.
Yeah.
Something about the force of the sneeze and I guess the contours of his face have created something I've never witnessed as a parent. My son has a snot goatee. The first fuck up was not having any tissues or napkins on hand. My wife and I had cleaned out the car the night before, and I guess we forgot to replenish the stocks. So I'm frantically searching for anything to clean this kid up before the light turns green. I am unsuccessful. The light turns, and I drive into the parking lot of a donut shop near the end of our neighborhood. We're regulars there, but thankfully I didn't recognize the girl behind the counter because all I could blurt out as I scrambled through the doors was, "I just need a bunch of napkins, my son just sneezed." I grab a handful of napkins, sprint back out, but the look of confusion on her face will be an image that sticks with me for a while. I clean the poor guy up and get back on our way. We arrive at school a little late, and the drop-off line has closed. No big deal. We drive around the front of the school. I unload the 2 kiddos and we head inside the main office where there's a kiosk for parents to check their kids into the school. My daughter happily grabs her tardy slip and goes on her way, but it's a struggle to wrangle my son back out of the office before he can go wander the halls like a tiny student uninterested in class. He's sick, and I'm tired, so I make a compromise. If he leaves with me right now before he causes a scene, he can drive the car. Like a lot of little boys, he's obsessed with all vehicles and particularly loves exploring every nook and cranny of our SUV. Because he's basically a little Hot Wheels addict, this proposal works and we walk back to the car. I set him in my lap and let him explore all the buttons, bells, and whistles the car's dash has to offer. While he drives, I either sit with him in the driver's seat or ride shotgun next to him so I can monitor. This is fairly routine for us as he loves cars and it's an easy activity to kill some time. This morning he even manages to call my dad once he saw his photo pop up on the Apple CarPlay. How Siri made out "call Papa" from his toddler gibberish is beyond me. I sit and chat with my dad while my son feels the need for speed. We've got nowhere to be and it's a rainy day, so I figure I'll give him as long as he needs to be happy. This was the real fuck up. So my daughter goes to a private Catholic school and we're parked right between the school and the church entrance. Directly in front of us is a crosswalk between the two buildings. It must have been close to mass time because we begin to see church patrons making their way to the front doors. Out of nowhere, my son exclaims, "I drive with my butt!" He jumps around and puts one foot on each of my legs. He turns around and proceeds to begin steering with his tiny little booty. Before I can react, he's shaking his hips back and forth slightly, turning the wheel and occasionally honking the horn. My dad and I are cracking up at this sudden creativity. Keep in mind, Grandpa's on the phone while this is happening.
Yeah.
When I notice the sporadic horn blasts are causing some of the churchgoers to jump. I feel bad because it's 9 a.m. on a Thursday, and most of them are retired who look like they could be one surprise honk away from the grave.
Oh, no.
Thankfully, most look over and smile or giggle when they notice us. It must have been fairly silly to see a large black SUV with the hazards on, all wipers going full blast, and the back of a little boy steering the wheel with his ass. I think we were parked for about 20 minutes total, and the activity ended shortly after my son decided to start stunt driving. All in all, it was a pretty fun time sharing a hobby with my son, but the real issue began when I tried to start the car to head home. This car has a feature that I often overlook: auto start and stop. At some point, the engine had turned off, and the battery was powering all of my son's antics. The wipers, the radio, AC, phone calls, hazards, and headlights, all draining the juice from the car's battery. I hit the start button and hear the awful clicking noise that happens when the battery won't allow the engine to fully turn over. Luckily, a kind old gentleman witnessed this on his way into church and gave us a jump. We hooked up his jumper box and small talked while my son hangs out of the car. I try it again, and it starts right up. I hop back out, thank him profusely, but I can sense he's a bit nervous as he unhooks the cables. I'm not religious, but certainly not against it. However, I can pretty much instantly tell there's a sale pitch coming. The kind old man sheepishly asks if I'm a patron of the church. I explain my daughter goes to school and I occasionally attend mass on the days when she's involved. He tells me about the church's program to address affordable housing issues in the area and invites me to their meeting next month. Meanwhile, my son is still in the front seat and has resumed his previous activity. He is driving with his butt again, shouting through the window, "Dada, I drive with my butt." Between the shouts and butt honks, I hesitantly give the old man my phone number when he asks for it. He says no pressure, but we'd love to get more young people like you involved in this program. We say our goodbyes, and I drive off thinking about how I probably have to attend that meeting. TLDR, my son drained my car battery with his butt. A nice old man gave me a jump, but now I have to do some community service, I guess.
Okay.
All right. You know, if that's the way you fucked up, you're doing pretty good.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, you had a pretty good day.
An interesting day for sure.
For sure. I agree. Dada, I drive with my butt.
I drive with my butt.
Dada.
Da. The Shrek baby again.
Yeah. Da. So, for my picture,
yeah.
I actually have a Catholic school very close to my house.
Really?
And I present you with a picture of said Catholic school.
You're going to dox yourself right now?
Nope, because I'm not going to tell you the name.
You can't see anything about it on here. So it's an aerial.
The long building that's connected and it has like the big square building attached to it on the other side.
Yeah.
Real long. That's the school. That big square building in the back, that's the gymnasium. That's where we play bingo on Thursdays.
I see.
Yeah.
The smaller building to the left of that, that's the church. And then there is another building. That is the one on the far left. That one is like a recreational building I think they have out there.
Ah, I
Cool.
see.
But
I see.
it's the school, the church, and then another little building.
Cool.
Yep. So you can kind of see like where he might have been parked. Well, it's not here specifically, but where he was parked between the entrance of the church and the entrance of the school. They've got a similar layout right there.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yep.
Cool. Well,
Yahoo!
Good story.
If you celebrate, happy Easter.
Yeah, if you celebrate,
Easter.
happy Easter.
If not, happy Peaster.
Happy Zombie Jesus Day. Get them eggs.
Happy spring. Happy spring solstice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, duh. I'm just like,
Yeah, there's
The
one.
earth
happy.
I think
is
there's gotta be more.
alive. The earth is coming alive.
Yeah. It's I'm excited
Your
for it.
mama.
I'm excited for it not to be freezing, but I'm not excited for it to be hotter. I do not like being hot.
it's going to be
I-
like 80 degrees on Sunday.
It is.
I like this weather
yeah.
where it's like cool in the morning
Yeah.
and then gets hotter throughout the day. I like this. I could deal with this.
Absolutely. I'm the
Yeah.
same way, for sure.
I can deal with 40 in the morning, 80 in the afternoon. That's
I'm
fine.
just glad it's not snowing.
Yeah.
No, for
exactly.
sure- for
exactly.
sure, yeah.
That part right there. Because we live in fucking Ohio where it can be 80 degrees one day and snowing the next.
we
And it has
just
been.
had that. recently.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was just snowing a couple days ago. And it's going to be 80 tomorrow. So
heavy on the, well, at least it's not snowing.
At
Yeah.
least, yeah.
yeah,
All right.
tired of that shit.
Who wants to do our whole spiel?
I do it.
Let's
I do
do
it.
it.
Spiel.
Do the spiel.
All right, guys. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, but not Twitter because
Fuck Twitter.
True. You can also find us on TikTok, YouTube, anywhere you listen to podcasts. Am I forgetting any? I don't think I am. So yeah, and if you have any encounters that you've experienced personally, our email is tippybote@outlook.com. That is TPIBOTE@outlook.com. If it is a scary encounter, you can address it to Dalia in the subject line. That is DALIA, no H.
No H.
If it is a wholesome or something good that happened to you, you can address B in the encounter. That's 2 E's, like the insect. Buzz, buzz.
Buzz, buzz.
But yeah, who wants to take us out of here? Oh yeah, be sure to rate and review us. I always
Yeah.
forget that one.
I do too. Be sure to rate and review us. You can rate us. You can review us and rate us on.
And you can rate and
fucking
review, and you can review and rate.
Facebook and Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Well, not everywhere. Not everywhere does rating and reviewing.
Most,
Yeah, but
I guess.
or you can comment on an Instagram photo and just say, "Hey, we like what you're doing," or "Hey, you guys kind of suck," and I'll delete that one.
Hey,
And block you.
suck. Comment is fun because at least we know.
Right,
Yeah,
right, right.
yeah.
It's gonna
feedback.
get deleted, but thank you for telling us.
Yes,
Right, right.
thank you so much. But
Thanks
who
for
wants to take us out? Anybody?
Not me. Okay, got it. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening. And as always, this podcast was based on true events.